Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggle here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. President Abraham Lincoln, 19th November 1863. Welcome to our show tonight, everyone. Our show tonight is called Back Off, and I'm your co-host, Annette Mendel, and this is our host, Albert Torcaso.
Well, thank you, Annette, for reading
You're welcome.
those powerful, prophetic, and important words of Abraham Lincoln. Now, I imagine that whoever's tuning in is probably wondering, what on earth? Why the Gettysburg Address, and how is that going to affect my life or mean anything relevant to me in the year 2015, December the 1st? And I bet you there's a whole lot of people out there probably thinking, if Al can pull this one together and make it relevant, I'll give that man a Pepsi. Okay, no Pepsi, I'm just kidding. Okay, now first off, I want you to think about some things, but before we do that, let me go ahead and say hello to a good friend of mine. He doesn't live in this city, he lives far, far away. No, he doesn't live in a far away planet. He's not at Star Wars, even though Star Wars 7's coming up soon, but he lives in another state in the United States of America. He's a very fine young man. His name is Carl White, and he's a business partner of mine. And, you know, Carl is a very good person. Carl also believes in Jesus Christ. I do too. Now, if you're an atheist or any other religion, I love you anyway. But I just want to say hello to Carl White and his family.
Hello, Carl.
And I want to say to my friend Carl White, I'm very proud of your progress as a human being and also as a business partner. And, you know, I know that you like a lot of videos that I put on YouTube and Facebook, and I thank you for that. But you know, Carl, I like a lot of what you're doing. And I know that a lot of people are probably thinking, well, how does Carl White have anything to do with me? Carl White, he doesn't necessarily know this. He's an inspiration. You know, Carl, like everybody, has a challenge or two in their life. And, you know, sometimes they can be anything, anything. So I just want to say that, Carl, you're kicking butt. You're taking names. I appreciate you. And with that, Annette has a job to do, and then we're going to get into the pancakes and the syrup of the show. And I promise you, I will connect the Gettysburg Address to your life. Annette?
Caller 1, you're on.
Hello, Albert. This is your good friend Carl White.
Hi, Carl.
Okay. My inspirational friend, Carl White.
It's good to meet you and good to be live here.
Oh, yeah.
and I'm glad we got a chance to talk this morning, or earlier today.
This afternoon,
anyway.
yeah. So, Carl, let me ask you something. Are you able to watch it on the internet? Is it working?
Yeah, it's working.
So you see my comb over there, huh?
Yeah. Telling that she's looking good too.
Well,
Oh,
you
thank
can
you,
tell her.
Carl.
You just did. You just did.
Thank you, Carl.
And tell
You're welcome for that.
Tell your family I said hi. But you know, Carl, I didn't want to share any of your personal business, but when I said challenges, I mean that, you know, we all have challenges, but, you know, you're doing something very inspirational. I hope you realize that. And you've helped a lot of people. We have a training called, we can't talk about the business, Carl, because that's considered advertisement, but I can tell our public, we do what they call training calls, and Carl's been so kind as to record them to help our other members. And I appreciate that, Carl. But tonight, we're actually going to be speaking about, and I'm going to connect the Gettysburg Address with all of our lives, believe it or not. So what's your feeling on the idea of I'm going to try to connect Lincoln's words with some of mine? Ain't that going to be a hoot and a holler?
Yeah, I agree with that Gettysburg Address.
Yeah. So
Because
let me
all
ask.
men are created equal, just
Oh,
like
yeah.
it says.
Yep.
But you know, there's been all this stuff going on about racism. You know, that's why they wrote that Gettysburg Address, that all men is created equal.
That's true.
There
That's
shouldn't be
very
no
true.
racist in there.
No, there shouldn't.
Every man, black, white, brown,
Mm-hmm.
yellow, green, red, ought to get along together good.
And woman. Let's not forget our women now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
every
don't
women
forget
too.
us.
If we forget the women, they might hit us with a frying pan.
Oh yeah,
You know, they might
I've
kick.
seen that happen before.
Oh yeah, hey, you know, back in the day, and that guy mad at me and chased me with a cast iron skillet. For real. She probably wants to cuss me out for telling you that, but
I
they
was
ain't
just
forget
kidding
about
them.
it. Oh yes, you were kidding, all right.
Well, I don't know if my sister wants me to tell on her, but when we was growing up, when we was real little, I used to pick on her a lot. My brother, he gave her a hammer and said, "Throw that at him, and he'll quit bothering you." And he didn't think she would do it, and she did, and man, I tell you what, I quit picking on her.
I bet you did. So let me
But
ask
you know what? Today, me and her are the closest brother and sisters
There you go.
that ever could be, as close as we are.
There you go. Well, my sister, I have two sisters, and my sister Diane, and I have sister Rose. But my sister Diane, sometimes she gets on my last nerve. She'll probably call in a little bit later, but she gets on my last nerve. But that's all right, Carl. You know why? Because I live in a city where we have so many hospitals, you can't go more than 3 miles without going by a hospital. So if I get anybody gets on my last nerves, I'll just give me a new set of nerves.
Yeah.
But let me ask you something. What state are you actually calling from, young man?
I'm calling from Kentucky.
Oh, Kentucky. I thought it was Tennessee. My fault.
I'm just right up north of Tennessee. I'm about 60 miles from Tennessee state line.
Okay. Well, what I'd like you to do, Carl, is I know you don't live in Pittsburgh, but I want you to be a future guest on my podcast, which I do online at www.talkshoe.com. And one day, when I have the green, we're just going to have to fly you in to put you right here on the panel. How's that
Okay.
sound?
That'll sound real great. I'll be glad to be up there with you.
Well, before you go, what is it you want to tell the world with regards to Christmas, Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa, and whatever other holidays? What greetings or words of wisdom can we get from Carl White?
Okay. On Christmas, or even Hanukkah, you know, everybody kind of puts down the name Hanukkah, but I've done some research on Hanukkah, which is meaning the same thing as Christmas.
Okay.
And even our president's trying to take Christmas out of the holiday and say Happy Holidays. Well, I feel like, you know, you're saying Happy Holidays instead of saying Merry Christmas. You're leaving Jesus out, because, you know, that's why we celebrate Christmas, is
Right.
the birth of Jesus.
Well,
And I love celebrating Thanksgiving, you know, because Thanksgiving is where the Indians help the Pilgrims when the Pilgrims comes over on the Plymouth Rock, And that's how America got started.
That's true. Well, you know, Carl, I say happy holidays, but I also say Merry Christmas. And my reasoning behind it is I want everybody to feel that, you know, I love everybody. I mean, I don't love necessarily the actions of people, but I don't want to leave anybody out. So I give it up and say Merry Christmas because I respect and love Jesus Christ, but I don't want to isolate people who believe in something else. That's why I do that. I do a little bit of both.
Right.
You
You
know,
know
and I think
how I
that's
do it sometimes?
How you do it?
Sometimes I say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays because, you know,
There you go.
New Year's
you
just
go.
a few days after Christmas. So
Yeah.
why not say Happy Holidays right with Merry Christmas?
That's true. Ain't nothing
So
wrong
you got
with
them both
that.
covered, really.
Well, that's what I mean. See, that's the way it should be, Carl.
Right.
But before we go, I just want you to know, I'll be calling you hopefully today or tomorrow, but I want everybody tuning in to know this young man, Carl White, is a very humble young man and a very good person. And I would encourage all of you to look him up on Facebook and become a friend of his. He has very good ethics, words of wisdom, and I believe you've done some preaching in your day, have you not?
Yes, I still do, but mostly out of my home because
Right.
of my disability. I
Right.
can't get out much anymore. So I just mostly preach on the camcorder and then
Okay.
post it on Facebook
Okay.
and YouTube.
All
So
right.
anybody wants to subscribe to my YouTube channel, they can.
Well,
So
first
I'll
of all,
let you worry about that.
First of
Since
all-
this is your show.
well, you know what? That's okay. I hope they do subscribe to you and check you out at Facebook. Now, if they do Facebook, they look up Carl White, WHITE. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, well, we need to get people to see you, Carl White, and if you do get any extra people requesting, let me know. Let the comb-over man know.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, we're going to move on. And by the way, get your seatbelt on because it's going to be a firecracker in about 2 minutes, young man.
Okay, I'll be
I'm
ready.
going to open up a can of whooped potatoes, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay,
I have to
Merry,
get me out a cup of coffee.
Oh, you might need 2 cups when I'm done. I'll see you later, Carl.
Merry
right.
Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah,
Happy- Well, happy holidays and Merry Christmas and everything else.
there
and
you
that.
go.
Good talking with y'all.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, that's a good friend of mine. I never got to meet him in person, but he's been very helpful to a lot of people on our team. Believe me, I'm not advertising or any of that yada yada business. I will tell you this though, he's a very inspirational young man. I would really encourage you looking him up on YouTube and Facebook and learn his story. The only thing I didn't like what Carl said was his disability. Carl, I hope you're still listening. You don't have a disability. You have a challenge. We cannot let ourselves be defined by terms that other people give us. No. God never made anyone with a disability. God has allowed challenges, but no disability. Now, with that, I love the atheist. Trust me, I love the atheist. You know, I'm going to be very real, because that's who I am. If you don't like it, hey, forget about it. That's who I am. I don't care if you're a Satanist. You're the most evil person on the face of the earth. Not that Satanists necessarily are. I'm not connecting the two, but anybody. If you change your ways, there's a God there. If you're an atheist, you say, hey, God don't exist, you're all crazy. Guess what? When you die someday, because guess what, atheists? Whether you believe in God or not, you're going to die. Just like I'm going to die. We all going to die. Hate to give you the breaking news, but we're all going to die someday. Believe that. When you die, you're going to be the most ardent atheist. If there is a God, and I know there is, I can't quantify it scientifically, but there is. Trust me on that one. Guess what? Every religion on earth talking about, oh, no, 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 no. God ain't going to accept you because you didn't come to Jesus or whatever. And I don't buy that. I love God and God loves us. That being the case, I feel that all of us could end up in paradise at some point. I'm not saying that Christianity's wrong. I'm not saying that any other religion's wrong. I believe every religion has some things right, and no religion has most of the things right. Yeah, I'm basically saying that y'all don't know what you're talking about. No religion. Because here's the deal. Here's the deal. If we can only believe in one religion, whichever one that is, or get to the promised land, or Mecca, or whatever I call it, or whatever, or heaven, whichever name you have, if that were true, then God would be shortchanging billions of souls or millions of souls. God don't shortchange anybody. Now, I know people say, man, I'm surprised they was talking about God. Listen, people, family, friends, Pittsburgh, fellow Pittsburghers, Italian people, people of all pigmentations, nationalities, it's time we get real. If you don't think God exists, trust me, you're smoking worse than the pipe. God does, but this ain't about religion. This is just this little side dish. Trust me, God is as real as the cars that you see on the highway or the street. God is so real, you can't get any more real or reality than that. I know, because I've been so close to death, it ain't even funny. Shoot, back in April, I could have been dead and didn't even know. Yeah, Diane, deal with it. She'll probably be calling it, what do you mean, what do you mean? Back in April, my heart stopped, and I did not even know, because it stopped when I was sound asleep. My heart just went for a split second back in April. The fact that I'm here tells you there's a God. I've been close to death way back in the 80s, but I'm still here. You don't have to believe there's a God. You're here too. Guess what? If you ever see this video, this show, whether it's live or it's rebroadcast, or you see it on YouTube or Humanity Matters or Facebook, then you're alive. Trust me. I don't care if you're an agnostic, an atheist, a scientist, a Buddha, doesn't matter. There is a God of all names, okay? And God needs to be in your soul, in your spirit. Because let me tell you a little something. Now we're going to get to the Lincoln business. We're going to take a left turn and a right turn, and we're going to end up using the words God, using the words Lincoln had, and we're going to put it into your daily 2015 life. And by the end of this show, for the people who actually listen, you will never be the same again. So you might want to mark down December the 1st, 2015, is the day your life changed. Because trust me, Albert ain't playing. And you are about to take a ride to a better life. Now with all that, Annette, I talk a good game, don't I?
Yeah.
What do you think? You think I can deliver? Or am I
Yes.
full of hot air?
No, he can deliver.
You think so?
Yes, I know
Well, don't
so.
tell me, tell them.
I know so.
Oh, you think I can deliver? That's pretty big tell, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I see? I see that we got another call. We're going to get to the call in a second. Right after the call, we're going to bridge what I said, what Annette said, and we're going to take ourselves down a trip to prosperity. So with that, I believe we got a ringer on the phone.
Okay, Diane, you're on.
Not a ringer, but a call.
It's good on me. So what do you want me to talk about? Abraham Lincoln?
Abraham Lincoln's a good young man.
Or George Washington?
Oh, I don't
You're
care.
talking about Civil War. I don't really know. You're talking about God, and don't go telling people you almost died, because I don't believe in that. You know I.
Oh, I did almost die in April, so deal with it. It is what it is.
No.
I
think
personal stuff.
I'm not going to talk about it now. But I will say we'll talk about Abraham Lincoln. No, George Washington. What do you think about George Washington?
I said Abraham Lincoln. How did Washington? Okay, you want to talk about George Washington? We'll talk about George Washington. All right. We'll talk about George Washington. What do you want to know about George Washington?
One guy you just had on, he should come to Pittsburgh, because that soldiers and sailors still does have about Abraham Abraham Lincoln in there. You seen it too, right, Al?
Yes, I did. But you want to know about Lincoln or you want to know about Washington?
How about both? How about both?
Oh, my gosh. Audience, you see what she doing to me? No wonder I don't got no hair on my head.
Why Rose can't call in and ask questions, so you can
Okay,
answer
time
Rose's
out.
question too.
Time out. If you're going to let me answer the question and you're going to keep going.
Go ahead.
All right, here's the deal. Lincoln wanted to keep our country together and have a country for the people and for the prosperity for every American. Washington was a part of our founders. They, along with the other founders and military guys and gals, wanted a country where you could have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I have to say this. America has failed George Washington. America has failed Abraham Lincoln. America has failed Diane Torcaso. America has failed every single American, and we are about to change that. We are about to go on a ride that's going to change that. So, Diane, I suggest you sit down and watch.
All I am sitting down, but Merry
But
Christmas,
Diane,
Happy
time
New Year.
out, Diane, time out. Get ready, because we're going on a ride.
Well, don't talk about that no more. That's
I'm going to talk about whatever I want to talk about, Diane. I do it my
I know
way.
it's your show.
All
I
right,
should
Diane,
go
but
on
guess
your
what?
show and talk about. I should go on your show and talk about the pirates.
Oh, no. All right, we'll go to the next call now. Next call. No pirates, not today, pirates.
Yes,
Play baseball. How you doing?
Hello?
How you doing?
I'm chilling, man. How you?
I'm doing all right. How you doing? What do you want to say? What's up?
I actually wanted to, I had a question for the lady next to me.
Uh-oh.
What's that?
Are you mixed with a dog or something?
Am I what?
You can cut the call. That's just somebody being a smart mouth. That's all right. We don't got time for no Rice Krispies. We got the milk right here. That's a polite way of letting him know that ain't gonna go down. He's being insulting. That's all right. We love you anyway, even if you are a knucklehead. Forget about it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it would appear that we had ourselves an insulting call. You know, normally I let him know what time it is. But, you know, we got to love people like that. Yeah, we do. We don't have to like what they're doing. But we got to love people like that. Because we can't help it if they got issues. We can't help it if they got more issues than the newsstand. It ain't our fault. We still got to love them. I don't like what you did, sir, but you will not win. You will never win. People that take the actions that you take will always lose. Let me throw it down. That kind of way of life is a loser's way of life. You want to cut on people, but if you look in the mirror, you are not perfect. You ain't even close to perfect. None of us are. So if you want to talk about people's looks, their education, or whatever you come up with, believe me, I could throw down with the best of them, young man. You don't want to go on that ride. But we love you anyway. With that, we're going to forget your actions as if it never happened. And we're going to go right down to this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I made a bold statement. America has not fulfilled the words of Abraham Lincoln. Didn't do it for the founders, and sure enough, ain't doing what we need to do. So before I get into this, I want to give Annette a chance to say a little something, because when I open up a can of whoop butt, sometimes that can takes a while. So Annette, you got any thoughts before I open up a can?
About what?
Oh, whatever. What you think? Anything to say?
Well,
If you don't, that's all right too.
I think America needs to improve. Americans and all these, and
Well, you got to speak up a little bit. Remember that it's hard to hear sometimes. Are you stuck? If you're stuck, that's okay. You want me to do my blabbing?
Yeah.
You see how she got stuck? That's all right. Not everybody's an Albert Torcaso, thank goodness for that.
Well, people have to love each other more
That's
than
right,
they do.
you got that right. Say that again?
People have to love each other more than they do.
Oh, yeah.
And that includes animals, too.
I agree with that. So you ready?
Yes.
You got your seatbelt on?
Yeah.
Now, do you think I can connect this, or am I full of hot air, for real?
I think you can.
All right, let me see. Let me refer to this for a minute. Let's see. Let's see. Brought forth a new nation conceived in liberty. Let's just take that for New York secondhand or Pittsburgh minute. And we're not going to do the 407 years ago part. We're just going to we're going to just talk for a minute. Conceived in liberty. Now, guess what? It's December the 1st, 2015. By the way, Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Ramadan, whatever you want, whatever you celebrate. I love you. You have a safe holiday. We're going to have to make that call or wait for New York second. I want to throw something down just for New York. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll hold on to the Conceived in Liberty to get this call. And if it happens to be a Jerry Lewis style call, no offense to Jerry Lewis, we're going to get rid of it real quick. But if it's a nice call, it'll be all right. And then we're going to talk about liberty because guess what? It's 6:27. You want to get that call real quick?
Caller, you're on.
Yeah, just wanted to comment on what the last guy said. People like that, you just got to let them be.
Would you believe I look like Selena Gomez when I was in my teens and my 20s? So he would be shocked.
Don't worry about that guy. I like what this guy's saying.
He would be shocked if he was.
I still think you look like Selena Gomez.
No, I don't. Don't lie.
I'm not saying anything. Hey, the Sicilian ain't
I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. Matter of fact, can we stand up? Can you stand up for us and take a spin?
All right, well, we can't be doing this silly stuff.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right. Okay, okay.
Thanks anyway.
All right, well, any comments about the Conceived in Liberty yet?
Yeah, I wanted to say, you're saying that America is basically about to change a lot of things, right?
Oh, yeah. No, we need to change. We need to change. And we're going to get ready to change.
How do you think that you could reach people, like, say, in the urban communities?
How do I think I'm going to reach them? How do I think I'm going to reach them? You really want me to answer that? Okay. You know how I'm going to reach them? I'm going to do my thing, and then other people are going to do their thing, and we're going to unite. And we're going to remember the words, the United States of America. It's time for us to get together as a people and as a nation. That's how we're going to do it. And when we do it, there won't be any nation on the face of this earth that will be able to handle it.
That's pretty abstract. I mean, to say you're going to do your thing, and to say
I know it is.
I mean, there has to be a concise.
Well, you know what?
Serious, like,
you know
serious together plan and strategy to be able to reach people with. I mean, people are so used to. You got to understand, people are so used to living their life
right
and inequity.
So, but you know what?
In a perverse type of. So what do you bring to the table? That's what I'm not trying to. No, don't think.
What do I bring to the table? Okay, I'll give you an answer.
Sad way.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this.
Understand what you get. What do you bring to the table that's new, that's fresh?
Okay, you want that answer? I bring the consciousness to the table, and I will motivate people to take action individually because we need to do it individually. And if you don't think that this is possible, you might want to remember that everything that changed in history usually was started by one human being. Think about it. If you really think about it, most great changes in history was started by one human being, then other human beings joined him or her, and that's how we made changes, and that's what we're going to do now. First thing we're going to do is learn and start working on what needs to change. If we don't have a roadmap, we can't get there. And this Conceived in Liberty is going to be one of the first steps that we use from that roadmap. You'll see, just tune in, you'll be all right. You'll understand where I'm getting at.
All right, well, look, man, I want to try to add to the cause. I want to be a part of the movement, and I want to know, how can I be down?
Don't worry. First of all,
I want to be down with y'all.
you can first start going to my Facebook page. That's number one. That's the number one thing you need to do. Be one of my Facebook friends. You'll understand, I can't talk about it on the show. Believe that. There's some things I can't speak about.
Well,
But
how can I get in contact with you? I mean,
like I said,
just off the air or something. Maybe I could call
all you got to do,
what's your name on Facebook then?
Albert Torcaso, just like my name is here. It's always everywhere, Albert Torcaso. Torcaso.
Some people go by other things. Some people go by other things. Now it seems like you're trying to.
Oh no, I'm the real deal, man. I'm like, listen.
I didn't know you messaged Facebook today.
Check this
I'm
out.
supposed to know that.
Check this out.
I don't know what color shoes you got on because your tie's red.
Okay, time out. Here's what I want you to do.
And nothing else.
Okay. Okay, listen. Here's what I need you to do, because we got to move on in a second. I need you to do a Google search on Albert Torcaso, and I will give you, I have so much content there, it will last you at least 3 or 4 months if you watch everything. I promise you. I have over 815 videos on YouTube alone.
But I'm trying to be down. I want to actually be physically, I'm a soldier.
Okay. Well, let me get moving, because I got to get the Army started. We're going to do a legal, peaceful, ethical army, but we're going to start an army, believe that. So let me move on with this call. I mean, I'm going to have to go on to this. I just want you to keep tuning in and get ready for massive change.
Okay. Well, is there a way I can get in contact with you?
Yeah, but you have to listen to...
Check Facebook out. Too? No, not you, her. Not you, her.
Oh, no, her? No,
Yeah,
Thanks for the compliment.
No, she ain't nowhere around there. All right, we're going to move on, ladies and gentlemen.
Is there a way I can get in contact with you on Facebook, maybe?
She can't. All right, we're going to move on, Doug. We're going to move on. Sorry, young man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to where we were. I hope that young man is serious about what he said about the change, because I'll tell you what, we need young men like that. You know, I'm going to tell you straight. Conceived in liberty. Conceived in liberty. I don't know about you, but I looked at the history of this country. And even Lincoln, who said the words, he didn't really buy it. Not enough. Because if we were conceived in liberty, we never would have had slavery in this country, right? Am I right? If all men were created equal, then there would never have been racism or slavery. We also attacked the Native Americans. We used to attack the Asian Americans or Asian people. Nowadays, if you're Muslim, we have this perception that you may be one of those bad guys. We still, as a nation, are not giving liberty to all. Now, let's think about that for a minute. Let me see, I'm going to check my time, 6:35. Conceived in liberty. Liberty is so many different things. And we don't have all day to talk about it, but I might do a follow-up type show. But liberty entails so much. First of all, liberty needs to be for all Americans. Gay Americans, straight Americans, white Americans, Asian Americans. You know, rich people, people without money, African Americans, you know, Hispanic, Muslim, obviously, everybody. And until our nation quits the collective paranoia of African Americans, people seem to be afraid of African Americans and Muslim Americans or Muslims as a whole and others. Until we stop that, we can't be a nation of liberty. Now, I know there's going to be people out there thinking, well, what do you want us to do? Put our guard down and get killed again? I'm going to answer that in this way. Back in the day, I trained as a law enforcement / security specialist / expert. Yeah, I did. And back in 1986, I actually took classes and training on bomb security, counterterrorism, hotel and hospital security, you name it. And when we first took our training on counterterrorism back in 1986, we were like, what are you talking about, counterterrorism? That hasn't happened here. Up until that point, it didn't. So having said that, I bring that up and there's a relevance. I want every American to be protected. No doubt. Believe me, I will protect people with my very life if I have to. And I'll take some suckers out if they try to mess with my family or you. But having said that, we are not protecting America when we are attacking certain segments of society. When we are becoming a nation that is a police state, and I'm sorry to tell you, but we're in a police state, or very close to it. I won't say we're outright in a police state, but one has to say what constitutes a police state. And the only thing we don't have in America right now to make it an official police state, we don't have martial law yet. Other than that, we live in a police state. You don't believe me? I come to this station. There are surveillance cameras on me. I go to a Walmart. There are surveillance cameras on me. I go to a Subway. There are surveillance cameras on me. I go to the hospital. I get in a bus. I go into the trolley. I don't care where I go. There are surveillance cameras on me. Now, people say it's to protect us. It's to reduce theft or to protect you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I submit to you that is as much BS as there could ever be in the history of the planet. There have been cameras at casinos who physically was filming. There was a child that was killed, kidnapped, raped, and killed. And like a 7-year-old child in Las Vegas a few years ago, about 6-8 years ago, this child was kidnapped right out of the casino, filled with cameras, raped and killed. So I submit to you, if you think these cameras at the station protect you, you're dreaming. If you think the ones at Walmart, the casinos, Target, Subway, McDonald's, Wendy's, I don't freaking care where it is, the hospital, these cameras do not protect you. These cameras theoretically will capture the crime. These cameras may help after the crime is committed. They may reduce theft or what have you, but in the final analysis, they do not protect you. And I refer to you, we cannot have liberty if we exchange our liberty for security. And those who would exchange their liberty for security deserve neither. Those words from a founder named Benjamin Franklin. I submit to you, we don't have liberty in America anymore. We haven't had martial law yet, but when you can go online, put your name in there and your social security number in there, and they can find out about every person you ever met and actually ask you questions about them through whichever thing you're doing, like trying to get an insurance quote or whatever. When big brother and sister has all that on you, you don't have any liberty. So, what did Lincoln say? Conceived in liberty. And then he said, all men are created equal. Well, if that's the case, in 2015, why is it that all men and women and children are not created equal? They're not. Let's not smoke the pipe around here. Let's not be freebasing. Let's not be taking cocaine or marijuana to the point where we are asleep at the wheel. Let's not be texting while driving. Let's get some reality here. We are not free and we are not equal. When a black man cannot walk down the street, or a black woman, or a Muslim man or woman, or any woman or man of any pigmentation can't walk down the street without having to worry about, let's just say, ethically challenged people who are supposed to be upholding the law, taking their abuse. When a man can't walk down the street, or a woman, without being in fear of those who are supposed to be protecting us, then we don't have liberty. We don't have equality. We don't have it. But we're going to get it. We're going to get it. Oh, heck yeah, we're going to get it. Now, before we get into that, we got ourselves a little something here. All men are created equal. No, I'm not doing a rerun. You see, we can make all men and women be created equal in America. But one of the things we need to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to use that cell phone right now. Start petitioning, calling, emailing, faxing, texting, snail mailing, protesting Congress, every corporation, and an organization in America that's doing wrong. And when they do wrong, let them know. And what is wrong right now is the fact that not only do we not have equality for all, but if we open our eyes to the truth, one of the reasons why we have a black youth murder, getting killed, or gang type of problem, or for that matter, any people in poverty being in gangs, why we have that issue is simple. We have lost a lot of these children of all pigmentations and people of all ages have lost hope. You know, Jesse Jackson said, keep hope alive. But when you're oppressed, depressed, and feel like your life don't mean anything, you don't have hope. We need to bring back hope. You know, I love people. I'll open up a can on you if I have to, but I love you. And what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is we need to have a mental, how do we put it, epiphany almost. You know, we say we have gang members of all pigmentations causing all these issues. But let's look at the reality of it. If you have a choice of making $500 or more a week doing illegal activities like selling drugs, or you're given the choice of working for minimum wage at a fast food place with disrespect and no chance of advancement, are you going to take that $500 in your pocket and risk everything, or are you going to work at a Wendy's, or work at a Burger King, or work at the big box store? What we need to do is change everything in America to start giving equality. Now, you're probably thinking, well, how the heck do we do that? The young man was touching on that. First of all, I need to, and you need to, come up with a plan. And then we need one human being to be the front person. You ever hear of a guy named Martin Luther King? He was the frontman. You ever hear of a guy named Gandhi in India? He was the front person. You ever hear of a guy named Nelson Mandela? You know, don't tell me that we can't make changes, because that's the lazy way out. And I'm not letting you be lazy. I'm going to get serious up in here. I got a couple more minutes. We can make changes, but we can't do it when we're sucking our thumb being a bunch of cowards. In America, we are not cowards. So with regards to liberty, we're going to get ourselves some liberty. From now on, all Americans matter. Whether you're poor and you're white, you're poor and you're Hispanic, you're poor and you're Asian, you're poor and you're African American, or you happen to be Muslim, of Muslim descent, or whatever it is. I don't care. I love you. As far as my gang members out there that exist, I love you. I don't care what your pigmentation is. I don't care what you've done wrong in your life. I want you to change. I want you to know there is somebody that gives a damn about you. And excuse me if I said damn. I don't care if I said damn. Because damn ain't a bad word. D-A-M-N or D-N or whatever. Yeah, D-A-M-N. I didn't cuss. I care about the gang members in Pittsburgh. I care about the gang members in New York City, Los Angeles, or wherever they may be. You know, they ain't there because they solely want to be evil. They're there because they were not loved right, or they gave up because they did not have access to education or a decent job. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but I'm saying when you lose hope, you do dumb stuff. So we need to change that. So we're going to. We're going to change it. I'm going to be one of the voices, and I'm never going to stop. I'm one of the voices. Because you see, I believe in a God. And if God is looking down here on earth, the way we're treating each other, people killing each other, people raping each other, terrorists, freaking global warming, and not giving a dang about that, and everything else. You know, if there is a God, and I believe there is, no matter what name you give God, whether he's a man or a woman to you, if God's looking down, he'd probably God would probably be looking down here and saying, holy Moses. I mean, it's an embarrassment, really. Before we get to that call, it's an embarrassment of how we abuse each other. So let me get down to the business at hand. Give me a minute, young man or woman. You know, I said we're going to make some changes, didn't I? Well, we are. First of all, every American needs to be able to earn a decent living and beyond living wage. Now, what is Albert Torcaso actually doing about that? What am I doing about that? Well, I'm not going to promote my business, but I'm going to say this. That young man, Carl White, that called earlier, he's one of my business partners. And I intend by the end of this year, which is less than 30 days, really, to be on a course that's going to change my life financially. And as it does, I want it to change other people's lives. I can't talk about how, why, or where, but I can tell you this. The best way to tell you what Albert Torcaso is actually doing off the camera and how it's going to change lives for people who wants to know what's in it for them. What's in it for them is people who are serious, who want a better life, want that piece of the pie. I'm bringing them to the table. But you're going to have to be serious. You're going to have to do things you don't like. And I ain't asking you to do anything this past breaking the rules on the public access, but I'm telling you, in the last 3 weeks, I have worked my butt so hard, worked so hard for so many different things, for my business, for my TV show, and for a better life. Because I'm going to tell you straight, I'm getting my money. I'm getting my liberty. I'm getting paid. And when I get paid, and it will be a lot, I'm going to utilize that to help my family, to help other people I love, and to help everybody that I can. And I will not apologize for that. I'm going to help animals. I'm going to help homeless veterans in America, which is an abomination. There should not be a freaking term as homeless American veteran. That's a disgrace. These men and women are heroes. And yeah, I get a little bit wound up when they mess with the veterans. Don't be messing with our American heroes, or you'll answer to me. And who am I? Well, trust me, if I wanted to have a midnight hour, Eddie Murphy style, trust me, I could be all that in 20 bags of chips. Don't be messing with me when it comes to homeless veterans, and don't be messing with me when it comes to homeless children, and don't be messing with me when it comes to homeless animals. So what am I going to do? That young man wants to know, what can I do about it? Young man, get yourself to Facebook. Get yourself to YouTube. Learn what the real El Torcaso is like, because this ain't nothing but a little pretzel compared to what I do online. I got the whole freaking factory of pretzels online. Okay? But yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, before I turn it over to this caller, you want to know how I'm going to make these changes? I'm going to do what I can for me and my family and my friends and other people. And then I'm going to call on you to step up to the plate and help me. We're going to start an army, a legal, ethical, peaceful army. But make no mistake, I am at war with poverty. I am at war with inequality. And frankly, I'm at war with the way black men and women are treated in America. And before I go to that call, I almost forgot. Because you know when I get in a tangent, forget about it. Recently it came to light that officers, and I don't remember the city, officers killed an unarmed black child again, or teenager. Shot the child 16 times. Unarmed. Claimed that, well, he had a 3-inch knife. Number one, if you have a firearm and they have a 3-inch knife, please, let's get real. Second of all, let's call it what it is, murder.
That's right.
Murder. M-U-R-D-E-R, murder. That's what it is. But here's the thing. If he had a knife, okay, theoretically people could say, well, they were defending themselves. He was running away. So it's murder. But there is a greater problem here. We can try those, put those officers in prison. Not all officers are bad. There's a lot of good officers out there. But those ones were bad. They killed somebody for no reason. But, hold on a minute. See, that's not the problem. The problem is racism. The problem is hatred. It used to be Americans hated Native Americans. Then they started hating Native Americans and African Americans. Now they hate Native Americans, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, freaking Muslim Americans. I mean, it's all this hate, hate, hate. It needs to stop. It needs to stop. Stop the hate, throw down the love. But you know what? We might just continue this on the first week in January.
Make love,
because I'm
not war.
running out of time. But let me tell you something. You need to get yourself to my Facebook and YouTube page. Because you know what? That guy asked me, what am I going to do to change our planet? I got a question. I'm going to throw it back to you. What are you going to do about it? I know what I'm doing. I'm changing it for the better. Now, with that and that, I'm looking at the monitor. It looks like we got ourselves another call. You want to take the risk, or should I? Go for it.
I just want to say,
Wait, what about, don't forget about the
I
call.
know that.
All right, go ahead. Go for it.
I just want to say, make love, not war.
Well, you from the 60s? I'm just teasing.
Yeah, that's the teenagers and the youth of the 60s
Right,
and
get the call.
today.
Get the call.
Caller, you're on.
Hi, Alan and Ed. This is Eric. And really
How you
quick,
doing, Eric?
since we're running out of some time, I just want to ask you, who do you think is going to win the Republican primary and the Democratic primary, or is it too early to call that?
Well, I think it's too early to call, but my guess is that either Bernie Sanders or Hillary's going to win the Democratic and be our next president. Yes, I said, I'm making a prediction. Hillary or Bernie will be our president. I would believe, honestly, I believe Hillary Rodham Clinton is the next president of the United States of America. Now, with the primary, with the Republicans, I really haven't been paying much attention. I think actually we're going to have a dark horse if Chris Christie hasn't kicked himself out of there yet. I think he's got a chance at it, even though he's a super long shot. The only reason why I say that is Donald Trump I don't think he can handle it because he's been really dividing our nation way too much. And let me just say this with regards to that. I'm tired of politicians from both sides trying to make Americans hate Americans. And Donald Trump is a disgrace to our nation with the way he's been acting. I love him as a person, but his actions are appalling and they are disgusting. But I think it's going to end up possibly being Christie and Clinton. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Al. And also, are we going to have some more music in 2016?
Well, we were supposed to have music today, but something happened. So, yes, we will have music. And we also will have fire. And, Eric, we're going to have fire and brimstone, too.
All right. Thank you, Al. You guys have yourself a good night now.
All right.
You too. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Well, and that looks like we got about 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. So take us home, meaning tell people what's on your mind.
Like I said, make love, not war. Less fighting and more loving. That's what's on my mind.
Well, you know, before we go, I gotta go back to Lincoln.
And I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to our viewers.
I love them all.
Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever your religion is.
What about Merry? Oh, you did Christmas. Okay.
Happy holidays. And have safe holidays too.
I just want to say this. Look, this is the last month of December. Next year, we will have more music. We will have some fire and brimstone. But as soon as I start getting to where I want to be with my business, I'm not going to tell you what the business is, but I'm actually going to teach you and coach you as to some of the things I've used that help me to succeed. Because the bottom line is this. I love the fact that I have viewers, but this is Humanity Matters. I want to see you get somewhere in every aspect of your life, and that means the tool called money needs to start coming to you more. I can't promise you anything, but I can promise you this. Whether you ever know who I am in person, you ever join a business, whatever, I can tell you this. If you don't start investing in yourself through education and through owning your own self-employment, you will never be free. So what I want to say to you is, I don't care if you go out on the street and sell toothpicks. I don't care if you invent the newest water phone, okay? I really don't care what you do. I don't care if you sell ice cream cones. Find some self-employment, invent a new technology, but you got to break free of these slave jobs and these servants jobs because they are not thinking about you. What's in it for you? How about a new life? With that, I want you to know, Merry Christmas to every one of you. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah and all that. But it's time in 2016, you and I, we're going on a journey you will never forget. With that, you know what time it is. Remember that you and humanity. And all forms of life. You better believe that